Hi guys, Colin here. Two guitars to restring today. One of them has a fixed bridge and the other has Floyd Rose. So I'm going to do two separate videos, one for fixed bridge restringing and setup and one for Floyd Rose restringing and setup. So the tools you will need for this operation consist of snippy things, string windy twisty thing, lemon oil for fretboards, collection of hex wrenches, screwdriver, container for keeping any screws in if I should take screws off of anything. Rubik's Cube, preferably solved. So bucking the trend, I'm going to start with a more complicated one because I want to get it out of the way, and that would be This War Beast by BC Rich with the Floyd Rose. So I'm going to do this one, restring it and show you how it's done. So the first thing we're going to want to do is take off the strap. And that's pretty easy because we'll get strap locks on here and that just pulls right off. And also remove the whammy bar. Get that out of the way. One of the differences about changing strings on a Floyd Rose as opposed to on a fixed bridge, if you take all the strings off and then put new strings on all at once, then you will have an awful job setting up the tension again on the bridge. So when you're changing the strings on a Floyd, it's best, if you're changing the same gauge of strings that is, to change one at a time. And that way you can keep the tension on the bridge, you know, to a relative degree, and you won't have as much fiddling about trying to get the whole thing in tune. So just when I was about to start this, I can see that actually one of the strings here has snapped from the tuning peg. The locking nuts have obviously kept that string in tension, but it snapped. I don't know when that happened. Maybe it was even at a band practice that happened, I don't know. I didn't even know if Scoosh noticed that. But yeah, that's a testament to the locking nuts that that's actually stayed to any tension at all. Well, it's clearly dropped a bit, but yeah, there you go. Funny things. So to start the string changing process, we need to release the strings from where they're being held. And here we're being clamped up at the top, so we're going to use our hex wrenches and we're going to find the one that fits and remove those strings. Let's see, which one could it be? So what we're going to do is unlock these like so. Just undo those. And the best thing to do at this stage is to take the whole section out, the whole bolt section out, because otherwise it's going to rattle and you have to feed the strings through it. So just keep them in a little container in a safe place, and that way you won't lose them. And this last one I'm going to have to take care about because that string is snapped, so that means the tension of the string is all going to spring off when I release this last nut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it down maybe. There we go. Just, if that happens, just hold down the string, untighten it, and if you're pressing on it, then all the pressure will be released without springing off. So there you go, one dead string. Right, now we want to do one string at a time. Since this string is already snapped and come off, we're going to deal with that one first. So now you want to go to the bottom of the guitar, where the Floyd sits, and you want to take your same hex wrench and undo this bolt that sticks out from the back. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Just turn it left and it should undo itself. That pops straight out. So that's the string. Wind it up safely, tidily so it's not springing about the place, and put it in a bin. It's good at this stage to just take the micro tuner and unwind it to its halfway in, halfway out. That gives it the best leeway in either direction for when you're going to do your fine tuning later. I will show you fretboard cleaning properly in the fixed bridge guitar restring, but for this one it's pretty much the same except from you're not getting a clear run at the fretboard because there's going to be strings already there to keep the tension on the Floyd. So it's just a case of rag, lemon oil, and do your best to clean the area that you can clean between each string. Now that we've got that bit of the fretboard clean, we're going to take our string of the correct gauge a brand new one, unwind it very carefully, don't ping yourself in the eye. And first thing to do is to clip off the ball end of the string, because this is going to clamp in there and we don't need the ball on it. Now some people, what they do and what they say is best is to leave the ball end on and feed the ball end through from the top. And I don't like doing that because that gives you too many winds on the top, on the tuning pegs, and you want to sort of have as few winds on the tuning pegs as possible, especially on a Floyd. So I'm not up for that one, personally. Take the end of your string and put it in where the other string came out. Right, so push it down, not knock down until it's right down the bottom and it can't be pushed any further. Take a hex wrench and then screw that back in so that the bolt clamps onto the string. Don't over tighten it, just tighten it until it becomes so it won't move any longer. Now get the string, tug it, it's fine, and just bend it down over the saddle like that. Now you're going to run it up to the top of the guitar, and I'll sit this spiky thing on my feet. And this is why you wanted these locking bolts off, so you don't have to feed this, so you can just lie it down straight on it. And the best way to measure how much string you need to go around the posts is to take it up. This is the post we're going to wind it onto, so just take the string to the next post and clip it there. Clip! Put the excess in the bin, don't leave them lying about. So once you've got the string cut to length, just bring it back so that you've only got a little bit coming through the tuning machine. Bend it round, push it through a little bit and make that bend really sharp. Bend. And there you've got sort of like a hook, if you can see, a hook. And that should stop it pulling back through. Then you get your stringy winder of windiness, and you want to wind in the correct direction. And just wind, 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 wind. I like to keep a little bit of tension on the... Oh, you This is a good point. Be very careful. See the blood there? I've just pricked my finger on some of the string that was already there. You don't want to do that, be careful with it. Just wind it until it starts to take up its own tension and there's no more slack on it. Don't wind it too far, because if you wind it too far you get too much tension in the string and it's likely to snap. So once you've got the string on, you want to try and bring it up to pitch to meet the other strings. So just use your standard tuning methods. So there, guitar's pretty much in tune there. So new string, and the important thing to do with a new string on all guitars is to stretch it, because what happens is put some windings around the peg and those windings will be slack. So what you want to do is take under about the 12th fret, take the string and fingers under it and pull on it. Don't pull too hard, you'll snap the string, but just stretch it in. Just stretch it, give it a bit of a tug, and that'll detune it. Then you tune it back up. Right, tune back up, stretch it again. And once you've stretched it a couple of times, it starts to stay in tune, then you know it's fine. That's it starting to stay in tune now. One last stretch, and it's staying in tune. Now what you want to do is detune another string, let's say the high string here, detune it and start the process all over again. Having got all the new strings on now, for pity's sake, cut off all this dangly nonsense at the top. I cannot abide this. It annoys me so much that guitarists would leave the curled up windings on the top of their guitar. It's untidy, it's unprofessional, and people judge you for it. So if you want to be judged, as an untidy, uncaring asshole, then you just keep your crazy, stupid, curly winding on the top. But if you want to be judged as a good professional guitarist who knows how to set up a guitar, then cut them off. Just take your clips. It's really easy, right? You just go as close as you can get to the peg, clip off, right? Done. Nice and tidy, none of this dangly nonsense. Jeez, the amount of times I see this annoys me beyond belief. Done. So much better. This is really the part where the tuner comes in handy. That is when I set the intonation on the guitar. Each of these saddles can be individually moved by this nut here, or bolt rather. Those will undo the saddle and allow it to be moved forward or backwards. So you need the string needs to be the correct length from the bridge right up to the nut so that it will stay in tune all the length of the neck. So these just move the string a little amount so it can be completely right. You check intonation by sounding the guitar on an open string, and then by sounding it again at the octave on the 12th fret. So here's my tuner, and if we sound our F note, right, there it is in tune at the open string. And if we sound it on the 12th fret, the octave, it's the same. Alright, here's a D sharp or E flat. It's just flitting about the green there. Octave, you can see that that is going right into the red on the sharp side. So the intonation needs to be adjusted on that. So I've found that if your 12th fret note is sharp, you want to move your saddles that direction a little bit. And if your 12th fret note is flat, you want to move them that way a little bit. That's just what I've found. When I've tried it, it's corrected the problems. So just do it with all of them. Take care, and remember, if you detune any strings doing this intonation process, to stretch them again and tune them back up. So the only other thing to do once you've got all that intonation done is to check that your Floyd isn't sitting slightly up like that one is. So that'll be a case of going at the back and just adjusting the springs, and then just make sure everything's in tune and everything's still get the correct intonation. So getting into the back, just look at the springs and make sure that we can have the Floyd sitting in the right place. It's just this big panel on the back. There'll be 6 screws, and it's just a case of undoing those screws and keeping them in a safe place. Right, so this is the panel, no screws, so put that again in a safe place. And we're getting the trem cavity here, and that's the trem set we put in the last time. So what we've got is that the bridge is sitting slightly up. So what we want to do is screw these 2 screws in the way just a little bit. Right, that's us screwed in those screws a little bit. Let's put the bridge sitting flat. I think you can see that. And it's all in tune. So now it's just time to put those bolts back onto the top of the neck. So one thing I found annoying about this guitar in the past when I've been putting these locking pads back on is that the 1st and 6th string, the way they sit across the locking nut, I don't know if you can see this or not, but the string sort of sits proud as it comes off there. It's not actually lying across the flat of that, so when the nut goes on, it actually pushes that string down a bit, so it raises it in pitch, and that puts out the tuning and the intonation. So the last time I did this guitar, I had to, by guesswork, set up the tuning and intonation of the 1st and 6th string, and I'm hoping I don't have to do that again. So that's been how to change the strings on a guitar fitted with a Floyd Rose. Check out my other video in the series for instructions on how to change strings on a fixed bridge guitar. And yeah, keep rocking.